My family told me, you're gonna get to Tijuana, you're gonna go to this hotel, and then once you're there, somebody's gonna come and ask for you. So we finally got to, to the border, and it was so easy. We crossed just like that. The guy asked me the question, I answered, and he's like, "You're good," and so we crossed, and we were on the other side.
I guess what got me fired up to make the comments and whatnot is that people had turned it into a race issue, but it's not. Those people don't live in Arizona, and they don't see the news every day and read the papers and about the smuggling. The people, they pay these coyotes, lots of money to be smuggled over here, and then they get here and they're locked in a house where they're held captive. And they ransom their families, and some might get released, some aren't so lucky.
The faith component, the evangelical, the conservative Catholics are very in favor, much in favor, according to Pew Research, of immigration reform. We have that. It took years for us to get there. Initially, they were not, but that page has turned, and we have an overwhelming support on behalf of the faith community that is intricately part of the Republican conservative establishment.
For nearly a decade, efforts to overhaul America's complicated immigration system have largely failed. In the meantime, millions have crossed a porous border and often exist in the U.S. in the shadows of the law. And as authors of immigration reform legislation struggle to maneuver through a newly elected conservative House of Representatives, even those who support a comprehensive overhaul of the system don't always agree on the details of a solution.
The lack of comprehensive reform, tough comprehensive reform, has just created this an anger and a frustration in a lot of the Southwest. It's not just Arizona.
Enough is enough. Secure our borders.
You'd see all the people on the streets, and really I thought it was kind of, I don't know, ridiculous to be that adamant about it. Me personally, I thought it was, if there wasn't a problem, then we wouldn't need the SB 1070 to begin with. Is it a perfect law? No way. By no means is it perfect at all. But no one else has come up with a better option.
According to a poll conducted by Arizona State University after SB 1070 was signed into law, an overwhelming majority of residents approved of the measure. What surprised the people conducting the poll was the strong approval of not only registered independents, but also longtime Democrats, people like Mike Campbell. He calls himself a progressive voter, and he hopes for some sort of immigration overhaul.
I know that to become a citizen, it's not easy because, I mean, I've got lots of examples. My immediate supervisor went through the process, and so, it's not an easy process. They need to do something to make it easier for people. Not amnesty. I wouldn't support amnesty, but make it easier, so that people wouldn't have to walk across the desert without water and food and whatnot.
We are not in favor of amnesty, and we are not in favor of Arizona. We're in favor of what we call a just integration strategy.
The Reverend Samuel Rodriguez has become one of the leading voices in the evangelical community. As president of the National Hispanic Leadership Conference, he advocates for a multifaceted reform package that includes deporting violent criminal immigrants, creating a viable guest worker program, and creating a pathway to citizenship, which includes passing the DREAM Act for young people in college or the military, and requiring other undocumented immigrants already in the country to pay fines and back taxes. U.S. Representative Mike Honda from San Jose says he plans on introducing additional pieces of a comprehensive immigration reform package in the new congressional session.
Let's take that word amnesty and just put it outside. It's not amnesty. Amnesty was exercised in '86 under President Reagan.
And I actually have had many Republicans jump and embrace, yes, let's do what Reagan did, which was a true amnesty, not the fabricated amnesty that every time you say, let's do comprehensive and tough immigration reform involving security and enforcement and back taxes and a path to citizenship and naturalization reform and guest worker program and the stuff that 78% of the country wants to do. Then you have this fringe like the Newt Gingriches of the world and the Karl Roves of the world and the other crazies on one particular side scream, no, amnesty will be tolerated, and which is kind of ridiculous because amnesty has only been done by Ronald Reagan.
I can't even believe that it's been 8 years now. It seems now like everything happened so fast.
These days, Eva Flores says she feels safe in New York City, far away from her roots in Acapulco, Mexico.
You know, I had a couple bad experiences with the police, and that's the people who are supposed to watch over the citizens. But they made me feel that because my preferences, I have no rights there.
In the U.S., she's been in a relationship with the same person now for a couple years, but they cannot marry in New York, and even if they did in another state, it wouldn't help her immigration status.
There is no recognition of the family relationship between lesbian and gay couples. So, you know, no matter how long a couple has been together, you know, how long the foreign person has been in the United States, you know, whether they have children together, own property together, etc., there's currently no way for the American citizen to sponsor their partner for immigration benefits.
With the help of a group called Immigration Equality, Eva has sought asylum in the United States because she fears what would happen if she was sent back home.
People, it's cruel in Mexico because they okay with gay people. They okay if they see a gay man. That's okay. But when they see a transgender woman...
Under Congressman Honda's legislation, gay, lesbian, and transgendered families would be included in immigration reform.
And we can't call it comprehensive if we don't include them. I mean, they are certainly legitimate family units recognized by many states and countries. So to that extent, I want to be able to make sure that we include them.
And this is where immigration allies split.
Politically speaking, I find it to be counterproductive for us to morph the gay and lesbian and transgender agenda with the immigrant agenda as a integration reform. We will lose evangelical support. We will lose support of conservative Catholics. We will lose support of the U.S. Catholic bishops. We're not making any assumptions. They've already made their statement.
As immigration advocates sort out their own differences, they do remain united on the big picture. The system has to change, even as a new political reality sets in.
If this is the Republican conservative family values Congress coming in, then I believe they would value keeping a family together. They would value the idea of passing just integration because it is a key component of a good family values agenda.
How troubling is this? We have people who want to come here and be a part of the American dream, and which I think is wonderful, and we need to facilitate that in a way that is legal. We are a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants, and we cannot forget that. What happens when people don't want to come here anymore?